What's up, world? Randy Savage 50 here, and let's take a look at the very elusive PSA Dagger Micro. Let's see how it's shot. All right, as you can see, those mags shot through pretty well, and I'll get on some of the things that I noticed throughout the shooting. But first, let's look at the weapon itself. Here it is. Here's how it came out the box, excluding the light. I put this TLR 7 sub on there. It looks really sleek. And here it is. Everything else is stock. I'll get into that as well. But here's how it looks. As we know, it is a Glock 43X MOS clone. So it's basically exactly like that, just a little bit different. And when they pop online every day on PSA website, you know that you better get in there, because after a few minutes or maybe 30 minutes or so, they're going to be sold out because everybody loves these little things. And I got my hands on it yesterday. It finally came in. I think I ordered it the middle of last week and it got here yesterday. So maybe a little less than a week in terms of getting it from South Carolina to North Carolina. And I am very pleased to have it in my hands. It was my first time holding it yesterday. And man, it feels great. It feels very good. Here is the bag that it came in. Zipper bag, says PSA on it. Nothing on the back. When you open it up, this is how it looks with the stickers. It has some screws. So you put the Hollison 47K or whatever on it, and has the elongated screws for that. PSA sticker. And here is a lock for it. This is where one of the magazines was, and the gun was right here. So here's the magazine that it came with, the 15-round mag that we all love. I bought a next one because you can never go wrong with more than one magazine. And I did notice when I first loaded it up to 15, that 15 round was crazy to load in there. But after I shot a magazine full of ammo in it, it was fine. I mean, it caused me to push down a little bit stronger than normal, like the other guns and magazines that have been worn through more, but it was a lot easier than that first time loaded. So don't get deterred. If you start loading in there and you say that 15 round is too crazy, just shoot a mag or two through it and you'll notice a big difference. I don't have a 43X, but I do have an image shield. So what I'm going to do, because I think a lot of people want to know the size differences. You can look it up online, but it looks good if you have this gun. You say, well, I wonder if it's close to mine. It is. So we're going to look at it here. Yes, both of these weapons are unloaded. Show that one. Shield is unloaded. Here it is from this angle. If I can get it even enough. Same. Even the thickness is about the same on it. Here it is on the rear. I'm trying to get as best as I can. It's a little difficult doing this stuff on camera. He pointed at me. There you go. So to me, it's comparable to the size of a shield if you want a concealed carry gun that is like that. But the big difference to having this is that you'll have a 15-round magazine opposed to having a shield that has the 7-round and 8-round magazines, or the Glock 43X that has the 10-round mags. Now, obviously, these mags will work on the Glock 43X, but it's cool to get one of these for $339 that holds 15 rounds that works, and it's cool, right? So let me mention some of the gripes that I see online. I'm in a PSA Dagger group on Facebook, and people post these a lot or mention the pros and cons about them. So there are some cons that people have mentioned, that when they get their guns, they've noticed that there is wear on the slide, on the barrel, or you can't see it, but there's some wear on the slide. And I think they often forget that PSA does shoot 1 magazine worth of ammo through the gun before they send it out. So that's good to test the reliability of it. But since I fired my first rounds through the gun, or 170 rounds exactly, or somewhere around there, I've noticed a little more wear on the slide and the barrel than I've noticed on any of my other guns with hundreds of rounds through it. So that's interesting, but I haven't seen anything with the functionality of it that has been negatively affected. This gun does have a reversible mag release. I am left-handed, as you know, so I was able to easily swap that over. That was no problem at all. The magazine locks in easily, drops easily on the empty mag, as well as a loaded mag. Try to fast forward in my mind to today when I was shooting it. Now, one of the things people mentioned was that the trigger is so terrible. Like, it's so terrible. It's not that bad. One of the things that I enjoy is buying a gun and using it stock. Like, let me try this out first like this, opposed to buying all these things. I got my gun here and I got all these other things sitting on the table and put this all on before I even shoot it. That's not me. Like, if I'm going to change something out, it may be the sights, maybe not, but I'm going to keep all the internal stock because that's how I like it. I see in these groups, the PSA Dagger group on Facebook, oh, my trigger's doing this. Oh, I'm having some ejection problems, or my round's not chambering. And they show a picture of this random aftermarket barrel. I'm like, it looks good, but it's not functioning well. So why not just try these things out, how they come, and see how they do? And if you see an issue, then change it, right? So I keep everything stock, and I put lights on things, and sometimes sights. This one I haven't put any sights on it yet, and I'm gonna get a red dot eventually, but I was loving how it shot like this. Now, those first 2 magazines that you saw in the video went well, right? But I did come across a couple of issues. And those issues were that, I'm looking at my notes, some of the rounds did not eject. There were failures to eject on 4 occasions. Now, I shot roughly 170 rounds. And if I have 4 failures, that's good, right? So that, I did the math, is 0.02% where that the gun did not function the way it needed to. So that's a very low percentage. But what if that 1 round is the 1 round I needed, right, to defend my life? To me, that's a problem. Now, did I see that as a huge problem? Was it a gun problem? Was it an ammo problem? Because I did shoot this Winchester white box, 115 grain ammo through it, as well as this 115 grain Fiocchi ammo. Or did I see it as a me problem? And I think I'm looking towards the latter, that I contributed to that by way of limp wristing. So the 4th mag is where the first time the failure to eject happened. It was actually the 2nd shot in that magazine. And I think going through the first 3 magazines and I was pleased and happy and excited that everything's running well. I got a little lazy, probably, and I wasn't focusing more on my grip. I was just kind of focusing on, let me see how I can get these shots off. So wasn't focusing on that firm grip, wasn't focusing on my locking on my wrist, and I think I contributed that by way of limp wristing. That's what I'm thinking. Now, obviously, I'm going to keep on shooting and kind of work through those things. How did I come to that conclusion that it was my problem? Because the last 2 magazines, probably magazine 11 and 12, my numbers are right, they ran flawlessly with a mixture of Fiocchi and Winchester. So I don't know, it may be me. So my first magazine, as you saw when I looked at did the camera like this, it was a mixture of Spear Gold Dot, 147 grain hollow point rounds, the 115 grain Fiocchi, and 115 grain Winchester. They ran flawlessly, right? And then I got those. So I'm gonna go down my list to show you what happened, at least tell you what happened. So everything was fine. Magazines 1 through 4. Oh, sorry, 1 through 3. Then magazine 4 came and the second shot failed to eject. As well as the 10th shot on that same magazine 4 had a failure to eject. And I believe both of those were of the Winchester round. Magazine 5, Fiocchi, ran the entire mag. Magazine 6, I loaded it to 10 with the Winchester. I noticed that there was a light wiggle in my flashlight. So I guess the recoil started loosening that up. But what I do to that is I went home and put some blue Loctite on the thread of the screw. And I think that probably remedied that. Also on that 6th mag, another failure to eject on round number 9. And the light loosened a bit again, and I tightened it back up. Magazine 7, Fiocchi, loaded all the way, ran the entire mag. The light loosened up slightly. Magazine 8, loaded it to 10. The first 5, Fiocchi, and the second 5, Winchester. They all ran smoothly. Magazine 9, loaded to 14, Winchester. Ran smoothly, all of them. Magazine 10, loaded to the last 11 rounds of Fiocchi that I had. Round number 6, another failure to eject. Magazine 11, Winchester, ran all 11 rounds that I loaded. Magazine 12, Winchester, loaded mag of 12, it all loaded. And those were the last 2 where I actually focused on making sure I was good to go, and I was good to go. So those were my results when I was shooting today. 170 or so rounds. Obviously I'm gonna do some more shooting, but that's what happened. So 4 failure to ejects out of 170 plus, or, you know, hit or miss. Not too bad. But like I said, I want my rounds to fire every time I pull the trigger. Do I attribute it to the gun? I don't think so. Like I said, a lot of people mentioned that they ended up with a dead trigger after X amount of shots or X amount of trigger pulls. They're sitting at home dry firing and the trigger was dead after 20. They were sitting on that video doing this number, right? So once I got the gun yesterday, I sat back, dry fired about 30 or 35 times. Trigger still worked fine, right? I put my light on it, doing different things, reloading, all that, everything seemed fine. So the biggest test was today when I went to the range, and everything seemed to fare well, mostly, other than those failures to eject. So I'm gonna go back down my certain things I want to mention. I just mentioned the trigger. My trigger was fine. The barrel was fine. The round shot, fine. My screws weren't backing out, as people were mentioning that screws were backing out. That didn't happen to me. Right here up on the slide. Someone else mentioned that the slide didn't lock back after the last round. My slide locked back after every magazine I went through, so that was no problem. My iron sights did not loosen up. I know that was mentioned in some of the group comments, so they're still tight. And they're metal, so that is good. Good little touch by PSA, not having plastic sights on it. I have magazines on there. I don't know why I put mags. They fared fine. I didn't have any jams with the magazines. Loading it to 15, I mentioned that, where it was tough at first, then it was okay. So you can't load it to 15. And the light loosening. I mentioned the light loosening. So here is the Micro Dagger. That's all I like to say. It sounds a lot better than the Dagger Micro. So I'm gonna keep shooting it. This is gonna eventually be one of my concealed carry guns whenever I get my holster in the mail. And I'm excited to continue to test it out, work with it. I was able to get it. Y'all stay tuned on PSA's website. Try to get you one. It feels really good in hand. This texturing is like the full-size PSA Dagger, and it feels really good in hand. Like, I told my wife that I was going to try to test it out first and see if I want to put some more aggressive grip tape or something on it, but I think I'm good with this. I think I'm good with this. It's a lot smaller, and I also attribute some of the malfunction to maybe, just maybe, 12 hours ago, I was shooting my full-size gun, doing a lot of training and getting on the ground, prone, knee, and all that. Has a red dot, so I was used to, it's a different grip. You know how it is, a full-size gun compared to a micro. So maybe in my mind, I was telling myself, I don't need to grab this little thing as tight as I should. Maybe that caused the limp wrist, caused the dropping of my shots, as you've seen in the clip. I think I threw that in there. I don't know. So next range trip, I'm going to do some more testing on it. I'm going to give an update video. Thankful to my beautiful bride for suggesting that. And I'm going to keep y'all posted. But would I recommend this gun? Yes. I would definitely say go pick it up. If you don't like the slide, or, I mean, if you don't like the barrel or the trigger, change it out. But have I found a problem with the trigger? Mind you, the trigger's the main thing you need to work, right? That was my biggest fear from seeing those clips. The trigger's not working is a problem, but mine worked well. So there we go. Randy says 50 checking out. Let me know in the comments how your Micro Dagger is holding up. Let me know if some of the issues I mentioned happened to you and what were some of your remedies to get away from those things. So until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for checking out my video.